This is Unity Radio Online, uniting through music.
Unity Radio Online, and you're kicking it with your boy Drifty on the Drifty Show. It is 3 minutes past 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, and you know what it is. We are joined by Winsome Duncan from Employ Me Enterprise. Good afternoon, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Jermaine. I am fantastic. The sun is shining. There's a song in my heart, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And one thing about the sun, oh my, it's England, right? We hardly have sun like this.
Well, this is it. Someone actually said to me, oh, do you think this is our summer? Yes.
Yes.
And you better go to the beach, and you better go to the park, and you better go to the seaside. You better enjoy it every single day that you can. Tomorrow's going to be 29.
Apparently this week is a heat wave.
Oh, yes. I don't watch the news, so I really couldn't tell you what it is.
Yes, it's a heat wave for
heat
once.
Wave.
So I understand that this will be the first annual Enterprise Fair and Masterclasses for those who are on the low income and aspiring to become entrepreneurs. Tell me a bit more about this.
You have indeed done your research, young man, and we're very delighted. It is the first, it is the debut, It is the prototype, and it is an enterprise fair which consists of, finding people employment, but we're also looking at how we can sprinkle inspiration into those that are entrepreneurial, into those that are interested in starting up their business, into those that have gifts and talents that want something more. And then that's when the workshops come in, because I think a lot of the time, Jermaine, you go to these job fairs, let's be really honest, you get bored. You've got people after people saying, oh, we can give you a job. Oh, you can come and work here. You can come and work there. But how many of those people are placed? And how many of those people are educated, are inspired? So what sets us apart at Employ Me is that we're going to have masterclasses. So the first masterclass is by yours truly, and it's all on budgeting. Do you know how to budget?
Well, I'm not really too educated in budgeting. That's something I'm going to attend.
Excellent, right? We'll save you a slot. So it's how to budget effectively. It's just showing people basic skills. It's always good to budget weekly, bi-weekly, or every month. And you can do it with paper, or you can do it with the Excel spreadsheet if you're a little bit learned. So that would be me. And then after that, our second masterclass we have is building confidence and self-esteem for job interviews. I'm sure you get nervous when you go to an interview, right?
Definitely. But I mean, one thing I've learned actually is like an interview is strictly a conversation between two individuals, and I think that's what can kind of make people a bit more comfortable.
Well, you are the intelligent one, because the other day I learned that someone said when they're going for an interview, they're actually interviewing the interviewer. That's quite poignant, isn't it?
At first I was thinking, how is that possible? But then at the same time, I get it.
Because you're thinking about a place that you're going to spend 50% of your time. And that's a lot. Waking up, going to work. It's about 50% of your life that you will spend. So why not ask them the questions about how comfortable you can feel in that environment? So we're going to be giving some tips, and that's by Gwenton Slowly. Then we've got a masterclass called Know Your Rights Employment Law.
Okay, so tell us a bit about that.
That's run by barrister Ryan Clements.
Yeah.
And to pass the bar, he had to go through a lot of work. So, he's got an inspirational story inside of that. And Mr. Clements, he's just going to be letting you know what to look out for when you're in jobs, especially around things like human resources, which is HR. And if you need to report something or disclose something that maybe a vulnerable adult or a young person has let you know, just what is the laws and how you can protect yourself in the workplace, which is important, right?
Definitely. I mean, you have to educate yourself, because I mean, a lot of people actually, they get into something and they don't know the full ins and outs of what they're actually entitled to.
There you go.
So yeah, definitely.
This is it. And then finally, if that was not enough for you, Jermaine, we got just a little bit more, because we like to give more at Employ Me.
Give on, give.
Keep on giving.
Yes.
And this is how to succeed as an entrepreneur. Are you an entrepreneur, young man?
I would definitely class myself as an entrepreneur.
Oh yes, he sounds very confident, doesn't he?
Have confidence is it's a key element to entrepreneurship. That's the word.
That's it right there. Tongue twister.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. But
excellent. So Kofi Openg is going to be from the Strat Strip, sorry. From the Strip, he's going to be leading in that, and he's done marketing for Nike and JD Sports. So you're going to be looked after, and we're even going to do a fundraiser as well to try and get some refreshments in, because when you're unemployed, you haven't got no money.
There you go.
And you might be a little bit hungry, so we want to see if we can give you a sandwich. So that's what Employ Me is all about. Wednesday, 22nd of July, Deptford Lounge. And I'm so excited, it's free. Do you like free?
Everybody likes the word free, you know.
It's
So tell us, is this fair aimed at a specific age group, or is it entitled to anybody?
It's for adults.
Adults.
Funnily enough, when Employ Me first started up, it was for young adults 16 to 24s, but we realised that was such a niche market, and the time that it would take to build that up and to get that into practice, it would have just been a lot of time. So what we've gone for is essentially 16 to 65. We don't work with younger. I've done a lot of work around learning support assistant and teaching assistant, and I've worked in primary schools and secondary schools, so I've done that now. So it's time to just move on to people a little bit older, people that want some direction with their career or need help starting up their businesses.
Definitely. So you're supported by Awards for All and the peer outreach workers from the London's Mayor's Office. How did you gather all their support?
Well, that's actually quite interesting. I'd say by God's grace, because I don't know if you know my story, but I was actually living off £49 per week. And
that's sorry to cut you right there. That's the actual, I think it's the average rate that human beings can live on, right?
No, it should be £71.
Oh, it's gone up.
Because, I don't know about the average rate that you're referring to, but what I'm referring to is what I used to get on Job Seeker Allowance.
Yeah, that's what I was going by.
Yeah. So from when in my day, which was 2013, it was £71.
Okay.
Now, I've got two businesses. So Employ Me is my second business. We're a social enterprise, not-for-profit. My first business, the Healing Factory, is a sole trader company, and at that time, because of my status as a sole trader, they deducted £22 off me.
Them deducted?
Yes! So while I was unemployed, I was expected, Jermaine, to make the £22 up each week, which I did to my credit, but that's not the point. That is not the point. It was actually quite distressing. And so being unemployed, I actually set up Employ Me with the new initiative allowance program that the Job Centre has. I took a loan out for £1,000 at an 8% interest rate, created the workbook, 100 Ways to Save Money Employment Guide, and that's how the seed germinated of Employ Me. So to answer your question, I had a consultant at the time help me, because he saw the vision that I had. He knew that I didn't have no money, and he helped me apply for that particular award. That one was for £10,000, and we got it. Got it
in the bag.
And it was to help set up Employ Me. So we've had a open day launch event at Canada Water Library, which was really good. We've been able to buy equipment, laptops and projectors and so on. We've been able to hire staff. And now we're going to have the Enterprise Fair, and we are going to have the workshops. So a year on, we're not doing too bad.
Wow, you know what? God is good.
I know, right?
God is good.
And then the peer mentor, I love this one. This is run by Bex. Her name is Rebecca, and she's the manager of the peer outreach workers. Have you ever been to City Hall?
City Hall? No, I don't think I have.
Okay, definitely try and have a little day out with the crew and go down there, because it's a historical building, number one. It's where the mayor's based, number two. And there's opportunities for young people up to 24 to work and volunteer and to put on events in the City Hall. So there's a waiting list though.
That's the downfall. But you know what? No, that's
So basically, you can check her out. Rebecca Palmer, her name is, and she's got a team of I think about 20 young people, and they all help her to put on events, and they're helping us with this event, the Employ Me Enterprise, and they were the ones that got Kofi on board, because I think it's so important to inspire the younger generation. They're often demonised, and that's not fair, is it?
No, not at all. But you know what? It is what it is. It's one of those things where you're gonna have people have views on whatever it is you're doing, you know? And as long as you're getting your message across to the people who you're aiming it at, that's all that matters.
This is true. This is true.
All that matters. So there's 4 masterclasses, right, at the Enterprise Fair. Can you give us a breakdown of what each masterclass would represent?
Okay, no problem. So my particular masterclass, we are looking at budgeting. So in the workbook that we got, 100 Ways to Save Money, at the back there's a table. So do you know what your priority bills are?
The usual, the bills, rent, council tax, water bill.
Yes. 2 more.
Electricity.
He knows it.
What's the 5th one? Well, for me, the 5th one.
Electricity and gas.
Gas, that's it.
Yeah.
I was gonna put my phone in there.
No,
it's not a priority. It's not a priority.
No. It's not a priority.
Not at all.
But it's good to educate the people and let them know, right?
Definitely.
So yeah, well done. That's really good. So those are all your priority bills: rent, council tax, water rates, electricity, and gas. And basically, if you don't pay those priority bills on time, you can get things like summons, you can get evicted. A lot of bad things can really happen to you, to be honest. So the whole idea is to educate people in this particular masterclass to have the knowledge of what is a priority bill and good debt and bad debt, the differences between that. And I'll produce some worksheets and we'll get them to fill those out with their income. Now, obviously, if you're unemployed, it's going to be a bit tough. But if you've got a part-time job or something like that, you would put something called your expenditure down, and you write down what you're spending money on. So you said your mobile phone. How much do you spend on that?
Oh, gosh. £50 monthly.
Really?
Yes.
What contract are you on?
I'm on free.
Oh dear, you better free it.
I like that one.
Free to free. It should be unlimited calls.
No, it's a very good package, but I mean, when it comes to like your priority bills and all of that, sometimes what I want to ask you, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are curious as well, how do you prepare yourself for managing your money and budgeting, as you were saying?
Okay.
I find that really, I don't know if it's just me, but I find that really kind of difficult. Like, you might put aside money for the time when you know your bills are going to come around, but then you just never know what happens between that period.
You've got to want to save money. You've got to want to improve your circumstances. You've got to want to learn how to budget. You've got to want to pull yourself out of that hole. And if you don't want to, well, then carry on getting in debt, carry on not having money, carry on not being able to afford holidays and all of those good things, because that's the situation. We have choices in life. And you can make a choice that elevates your life, or you can make a choice that is negative and sets you back in your life. So budgeting is not a challenging skill. Let me not language it like that. There's a technique to budgeting, and that is to really be organised.
Yeah.
And once you get into the flow of it and you know where your money's going, it becomes second nature. I never used to like to budget, but to be honest with you, because I didn't have much money, I had no choice. There'd be times where I only had a £5 and I would have to go in and get a week shopping of economical price goods. So we were looking at tin tuna, looking at a bit of tin beef, corned beef, we was looking at pasta, some rice, tin corn, sweet corn, and these were all economical prices. So say for example, you'd have the regular brand, which was 65p, and then you'd have the economic brand, which was 25p. So when you come to that specific masterclass, I'll be just showing you an overview of how you can get your affairs in order and how you can begin to organise your financials, because the poverty is not the lack of money, Jermaine. Poverty is the lack of education. And that's what I'm wanting to try and share with the world. Second masterclass, which one's that then? Here we go. Building confidence and self-esteem. Would you say you're confident?
Yeah, I would like to believe so. I would like to believe so. I'm joking, but I mean, you know what? I think on a whole, we all have our little personal insecurities, but of course, you do certain things to kind of overcome them. So I would say, yeah, I am.
Okay, have you always been confident?
Have I always been? Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I have.
Good. Some people are quiet, some people are shy, some people are withdrawn, and those people struggle to speak in an interview, let alone get through the interview. And sometimes it can just be the interview that will let that person down. And it's a shame because you could have a really good, strong CV, but because you're looking at the floor or because you're sitting awkwardly, it just cause problems, basically. So in that particular masterclass, Gwenton is going to discuss techniques and ways on how to build your confidence. He's an interesting character. He was incarcerated for 3 years and came out of prison, turned his life around. He was a young person at the time. Ended up working with Leroy Logan, who was the head of security at the Olympics, and worked with Scotland Yard's gang unit. So 10 years on, he's never reoffended, he's never gone back into prison, and he's completely inspired people that are going down the wrong path to make positive changes. So he's going to be leading on that, and he, as a director, will tell you what he looks for. So I think the main thing people need to think about that's listening to this interview is good eye contact, number one. Try and build a rapport. So if someone's speaking to you quite fast, respond in that way. If they're quite slow and pedantic, respond in that way. It's all about tonality and technique in your flow, in what you're doing. Make sure that you're presenting yourself, number three, very well. And I don't know if you know, but in first impressions, not only do they count, but in the first 10 seconds, people make up their minds about you.
It's so true.
Yes.
It is so true.
It is so true. So that's definitely a good one to come along. So we've got 2 more left to go through. Now, employment law, it's technical, isn't it? And I'm not a barrister.
It's very political.
Last time I checked, and didn't get a qualification. But you know, knowing your rights in the working environment. So if maybe you're let go prematurely, or if you feel you're being discriminated, what can you do? Who can you speak to? How can you log that and stop being discriminated, or it might not even be around discrimination, but any injustices that you feel you may have.
It could be not getting your 3 warnings before being dismissed.
Yeah.
I mean, certain people have. I've had friends who've just been dismissed, just like that, and they thought they were really in the wrong, and it's not fair on the individual to allow them to think that they're in the wrong to be dismissed like how you did them. Especially when you didn't give them probably a reason why in the first place.
Well, there are grounds for instant dismissal. I know that much. So, for example, in a school, if something happens, an incident with a young person, then we know that's instant dismissal. So there are cases where, yes, you just got to go. But you're right, there is stages to it. It should be first a verbal warning. Yeah, verbal warning. And then it's a written warning. Yeah. And then the third time, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
Goodbye.
Arrivederci. Hasta la vista.
You know.
Yeah, so I actually probably need to speak to Brian and find out a little bit more about what his employment law is going to cover, because there's so many areas, but we're looking at the workplace and how you can protect yourself. And I must say, these are all booked in advance. You can walk in on free on the day, and the masterclasses are free as well, but we're only doing it for people who have booked in advance. That's the priority first, you know?
Okay, so talking about, because we don't have a lot of time left, talking about booking in advance, where can the listeners get access to attending these courses?
Okay, well, Eventbrite is where they can get their tickets. So if they log in Eventbrite and they write Enterprise Fair, Employ Me Enterprise Fair, the information will come up. If you're not computer savvy, then go and visit our website, which is www.employme.org. Now you're spelling employ me without the E. So it's MPLOYME.org. And you can drop us an email as well. Get your pen. Our email address is workshops@employme.org. And that's workshops plural, so there's an S at the end, and then @employme.org, and you're spelling employ me, MPLOYME.org, and you'll get through to one of the members of the team.
Thank you so much, Winsome Duncan, for joining us here on the Drifty Show, Unity Radio Online. Coming up after, we have Amarian featuring Chris Brown, Janae Aiko, Post to Be. And don't forget to turn up to the first annual Employ Me Enterprise Fair on the 22nd July from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Free, yes, I emphasize the word free entry. Let's get them.
This is Unity Radio Online, uniting through music.